Hello there, Wilson-Felis here. We're going to do an awesome yoga wall class today. I'm at Yoga Studio Satya, which has a traditional yoga wall, so not my homemade ropes on my wall. So I have one student with me, and so I'll be going over and kind of checking out his posture too while we're here. But we're going to start a sequence today with upper body, so we're going to do shoulder, every shoulder movement we can think of. So I want you to start with your straps all the way at the top. On this wall it's at plate 5. On my wall it would be plate 4. And we want to make sure that our straps are the same length. So how you do that is you bring them together in the middle of the plate system and make sure that they link up and they match. We will practice the standard grip today. The standard grip means that you have a loop and you put your wrist up through the loop, and you can take either your peace fingers and wrap it over both, or your thumb and index finger. So we're going to do that with one arm in each of our straps. Right arm in the right strap, left arm in the left strap. And we want our arms to be fully extended here as we step back away from the wall and start to create that tension pulling back from the wall. So we're resembling a plank here as we're in this posture. And so from plank, we're going to start to hinge our hips back and look back, or down rather, at our toes or our ankles, coming into a downward facing dog. Feels pretty good on those shoulders. You might feel it through your underarms, your ribs, your back, your hips. Bend through your right knee a little bit and open your left ribs out to the left. Bend through your left knee a little bit and open your ribs to the right. So you might separate your feet a little bit more there. There we go, get a nice wider stance, and then it's almost like walking the dog, bending the right knee and straightening the left, and then bending the left, straightening the right. Now we don't want to overdo this on our wrists. It may have been a while since you've been working on the wall. So let's start to press up and roll up to plank. So our body is nice and straight. Our shoulders come down away from our ears. We're looking up at the top plate where the straps are plugged in. And then we're going to go into an up dog. So look up at the ceiling, open your chest, little back bend, inhale there. And as you exhale, fold back down into your downward dog. And with an inhale, roll through your back up to plank. Back up to upward dog. One more time, folding back down into downward dog. Bending through the right knee, opening the chest to the left. Bending the left knee, opening the chest to the right. Beautiful work. Yeah, feels good in those shoulders. And remembering. Now let's start to pick ourselves up to standing and release just the left strap. We're going to move the right hand into a C grip, where you just take a C and grab onto the strap. We're going to take our arms straight out. So turn out to the left, and then we're going to turn out towards the center of the room and start to lean. Oh, feel chest and bicep there. There we go. So you want to start to feel that through the chest, all the way to the sternum, but you'll also feel it through the side of your arm, the bicep. And so you want to find the right spot for you where there's no pain. Maybe a little discomfort where you're like, wow, that's really tight. I can feel that stretching, but nothing that hurts. Alright, some other ranges of motion. We'll bend our elbow and pick ourselves up and reach that arm up overhead. So back up. We want it to be at a 45. So this is 180, and this is 90. So halfway between that, where it's pointed up at a 45. And then we're just going to keep our shoulders and our hips straight and do a nice range of motion. Letting that arm just cross over in front. Still keeping tension in that strap there. Just asking the shoulder to kind of assess. How's that range today? This side's going to be different than the other side though. This is like my bad arm. I always feel a little bit congested in the shoulder just because I use it so much. We're going to go into tricep next, which is this under aspect of the muscle. So we're going to start to walk forwards, till our arm comes to a 180 degree, straight up. Bend through the elbow and start to lean. Now we want to feel it here, but you might feel compression in the back of the shoulder. That's where your shoulder bones connect. So if it's not painful, you can stay there, but if you're like, I feel it way more back there than I do here, then adjust. Feel awesome. Tricep. We did bicep, now tricep. Good. Got a pop. Pops are good. Adjustments. Nice. And we'll lengthen up. And now we're going to do the traditional. So back to standard grip. So put your wrist through the loop. Index finger and middle finger grab on peace fingers or index and thumb. We're going to turn out towards the right. Or rather, I guess we're opening up to the left. Our feet are grounded on the floor here, and we want to have lots of pressure on the outer left foot. So as you come into that, it's kind of like a side plank. There's more pressure on the outer left foot than anywhere else on the feet. You can reach your left hand out towards the center of the room. And we'll start to lean our head out in that direction as well. Perhaps sweeping your left hand up and over your head so that it comes over to your right ear, and you're assisting your head towards the left, towards the center of the room, away from the wall. Some different neck movements in there. While we're here, we'll do one round of a like ballet bar. So release your left arm, reach it out. Inhale. As you exhale, reach it up to the ceiling and overhead towards the yoga wall. The left ribs swing out. Inhale and come back to center. We'll try that one more time, reaching that left arm up to the ceiling and overhead towards the yoga wall. Back to center. Let's pull ourselves back up all the way. And we're going to move to the other arm so that our wrist doesn't get too tired. So left hand comes in, do the C grip first. We're going to turn towards the center of the room. Start to create tension by walking forward and leaning out against the chest. So feeling it in the bicep, but also in the chest. That's really the only way to get to stretch the bicep, is by bringing the arm behind you. There's no other way. Like people are like, how do I? And really, external rotation is the only way. So without the wall, you have to use a wall anyway. Let's take one last big breath and feel that chest start to receive that oxygen. Nice work. We're going to go into a range of motion. So just walking back, bringing the arm up overhead to a 45-degree angle. Shoulders stay straight, hips stay straight ahead. We're just going to bring the arm in front and out to the side and wave goodbye to the train. Yeah, this arm is so different. I don't feel any resistance, any crunching in there, where the right arm is like, crunch, crunch. Alright, so it's just an assessment. We're just kind of seeing how the arm is feeling, if there's any kind of stuck spots in there. We'll go into tricep neck. So we'll walk into the stretch so that your arm goes into a 180. I start to feel compression back here, but then I'm going to bend my elbow. We want to feel the stretch somewhere in the front of the arm. And if you don't, it could be that you're kind of like banana backing, so activate the core, clench glutes, and that should actually help to bring that stretch into the right spot. It's amazing how even with this, our core is so, like, needs to be engaged, or else get a little lazy, we start dumping. You know, I'm definitely guilty. Let's bring it back and let the arm come down to the side. We're going to switch back to the C grip, or I'm sorry, the standard grip, and turn out towards the right so that you're straight out at a side plank. This time, lots of pressure on the outer right edge of the right foot. We'll reach out like we're in a side plank, and I like to pretend like my left arm is literally being pulled out of the socket. Let's get our neck involved by leaning our head to the right. And you can sweep your right hand up over your head if you want to, and that will add more stretch into the left side of your neck. Explore a little bit there. And release for a little bit of YogaWall ballet bar. Inhale here. As you exhale, sweep that hand up over towards the yoga wall. Let your ribs stretch out. And inhale to bring it back. And exhale one more time. Let it stretch out through those right ribs. Bring it back. Nice work. Pull yourself back up. We've got 2 more stretches to do on each side. So we're going to go back to the right arm. This is my favorite stretch. It's called cat chair. So standard grip. And then what we're going to do is face the wall and separate your feet to about plate distance apart. And we're going to sit into a chair, an invisible chair. Bend those knees a lot. And then let your left hand come over to your right knee. Straighten your right knee. Yeah, as much as you can. So you're not going to necessarily pick the foot up, but you're going to straighten the legs and push into that right foot, and then look under your right armpit. Yes. So you're catting just the right armpit, the right ribs, and you're chairing the left side. Cat chair. It's a big stretch, a very big stretch. So at any time, you can always pick up out of that by pressing into the floor and pulling yourself up. Full body stretch all the way from the right ribs down into your tailbone. So when you've had enough, pick yourself back up, back to center. Our last stretch, we're going to take this strap, the same right strap, down from plate 5 into plate 4. Still in the standard grip, and we're going to turn towards the wall and then towards our arm. Step the right foot out into a warrior 2 stance. So your right heel should be kind of lined up with your left instep or your left heel. And we want just our right knee to be bent. And so we're really pulling the ribs across from spine through the right arm. That's pretty good. It feels good. Nice work. So you can kind of do that chainsaw motion where you kind of bend the knee and it increases the stretch, and then you soft or straighten the knee and it decreases. Nice work. All right. And finally, we'll yank our left arm out. So we'll let our right strap just hang down. And we'll do all of that on the left side. So standard grip on the left strap. We're going to face the wall and separate our feet to about plate distance apart. And then bend the knees like you're going to sit into an invisible chair. All right. Right hand comes to your left knee. Press into your left foot, lengthening your left knee, and look out under that left armpit. That's the big cat chair pose. Catting with just the left ribs, chairing with the right knee and hip. Last breath here. Let's bring it all the way back up. And we'll bring this strap, unplug it from plate 5 and plug it into plate 4. You'll start to walk away from that strap, still in standard grip. And so we're going to line up that left foot with the right instep or the right heel, and then step it out into a big lunge, warrior 2 stance. Starting to pull that left rib cage, left shoulder blade off the ribs, while that left arm is straight across the chest. So you can always bend that left knee to deepen the stretch, or straighten it for less stretch, or back and forth. Little pulsing action. Awesome. to center. All right, so we've done one version of downward dog with our arms. We're going to do another version of downward dog with our femurs next. So let's take both of our straps down to plate 3. Straps out away from the wall, and again, meet them in the middle and make sure that your straps are the same length, and mine are definitely not. So in order to do that, we want to lift the silver buckle and pull on the tail or the strap side, the loop side, until they become equal. Right. Sorry, I'm having trouble here. It's been a long time. All right. Oh my gosh. I'm having the worst time with this today. All right, so from here, I'm going to have you just drop your straps down and pick up your loops. And these are now going to be your pant legs. So we're going to step through the right one with our right leg and the left one with our left leg and start to walk forward. We want to make sure they're not twisted and they create a nice climbing harness. You can already start to feel that restriction, which is really nice, and start to lean against these straps. It feels so awesome to just suspend here. But when we start to fold forward is when our hamstrings are going to catch on fire. So at any time you can reach for the floor, you can soften your knees, you can lift your heels off the floor. And we're going to come down into a femur traction, downward dog. So your femur bones are being tractioned back into the hip socket. So the ball is being pulled back into that socket. Hamstrings really, really stretching. Calf muscles, oh my gosh, they're on fire. See if you can let go with your head. Shake your head no very lightly. Maybe so. While we're here, we'll try a gentle twist. So we're going to soften our right knee, bring the right hand down into the floor, and reach the left hand up. So we're kind of leaning into that right side. It's okay if you do the left, we'll do the other side too. So I feel a lot in my right armpit. And then I'm going to switch. So I just bring my left hand down into the center, bend my left knee, and maybe even lift my left heel and swing my right hand up. Beautiful. Big breath in, breathe out, and release it down. Bring your hands up to your heart, shoulders down away from your ears, press into your feet, press into those straps, and start to peel yourself up to plank. Nice work. Yeah. And we'll start to walk forward just a step to release that tension. As you step back, you're going to feel a blood flush happen. In Thai yoga massage, we call that a blood stop. And so we're intentionally stopping the blood down to the legs, and then all of a sudden we release the floodgates, and all of this fresh nutrients, fresh blood goes down to our feet, and it's awesome. We have one strap here that is already pretty much where it needs to be, so let's lift the silver buckle and get our bottom of the loop down to about 1 inch off the ground. And then we're going to take our other strap, Dwight, and bring it up to plate 4, right on top, so they're in the same column. One's on plate 3, one's on plate 4. The one that's at plate 3 is going to be 1 inch off the ground. The one that's at plate 4 is also going to be about 1 inch off of the ground, so we'll have to really lengthen that. So the one that's at plate 3 is for your neck and your head. The one that's at plate 4 is for your leg. So, once you get everything set up, let's get our blanket out. I like my blanket to be in a half yoga mat position. And then we'll lay it down in line with our plate. So the whole column is what you want to be lined up with. And we'll have a seat down here. If you're wearing glasses, you might have to take those off as the straps might hit behind your ears. As you lay down, you want to make sure this whole column of plates is right above you. We're going to find the lower strap system, the one that's at plate 3. We'll lift our head and bring the back of our head like ski goggles, into that strap. Nice into that webbing of the strap, the flat part. And then we'll have our knees bent and our feet flat, so that our head is just suspended off of the ground. Low back is honored here. And if you need more neck traction or more stretch, you might start to press your hands onto the wall and slide yourself out a little bit away from the wall. That will increase the neck traction. With our knees bent and our feet flat, let's just rock the legs to the right and to the left. Back and forth a couple times to massage your sacrum into the floor. Feel free to close the eyes. Allow yourself to really honor the gravitational pull that's being drawn down on your body. Bring our legs back to center. Still with feet flat, knees bent. Very gently, we're going to do an anterior pelvic tilt. So don't lift your back off of the floor. Just tilt your tailbone towards the ground. And then roll your tailbone up, trying to squeeze the glutes and flatten your back into the floor. And then we'll roll our tailbone forward, lifting our low back a little bit. And then roll towards your back, flattening, tailbone lifting. Back and forth a couple times. And so when we do this anterior and posterior pelvic tilt, it's very, very subtle. You almost can't tell that people are moving when they're doing this. But when I come into the anterior pelvic tilt and my tailbone is really pulled down to the floor and I've got that low back lifted, I feel a big increase in neck traction. Now, neck traction is a fan favorite, so that's why I have us set up with 2 straps so that our neck can remain in traction. You can cease your pelvic tilts here, just come back to neutral. We're going to take our other strap, the longer one that's on top of plate 4, and we're going to extend that out in front of us and bring our right heel or back of your ankle through that strap. Now, I don't feel much of a stretch here. I'm going to have to adjust that. What do you feel, Dwight? Do you need an adjustment? Okay. Try that. Is that better?
Yes.
Too much?
No.
Okay. There's that. Thankfully, it's not hitting me in the face. All right. Same thing for me. I need a little bit more. So we want to feel a stretch in our right hamstring when we're here. Right behind the back of the knee. Alright, so right hamstring is right just behind the back of the thigh, back of the knee when you're in this position. Let's start by just flexing and pointing the right foot a couple times. So as you flex it, your toes might hit the straps and your heel is pushed up to the ceiling. And as you're pointing, your toes are pointing upward towards the sky. Back and forth. Let's do some inversion, turning your toes in to the left and out, turning your toes out to the right. We're going to pay attention always to how our ankles and feet move. Now let's just neutralize our foot and ankle, and we're going to send our whole right leg out to the right. So the strap might have to adjust around your ankle and swivel a little bit. And you want to feel your right inner thigh stretching. If you could use a little assist, you can always use your right hand to help that leg a bit further into the pose. Always making sure to take a couple breaths and bring some oxygen into the blood. Allow those muscles to stretch. Pinning the left hip and left heel to the floor so that those don't move. It's just the right leg. So let's move that right leg by bringing it back up to neutral. and then over to the left. And so again, it might not go very far to the left. It might need a little assist from your left hand. You want to feel that stretch when you go to the left, somewhere on the right thigh, behind the knee maybe. Maybe on the iliotibial band where it connects down to the hip at tensor fascia lata. Don't forget that breath. Let's do it again to each side. So at your own pace, just allowing the leg to drop open to the right, maybe using your right hand as an extra guide, as extra assist. Flex and point your toes while they're out to the right, just to bring some awareness to your ankle and foot. And then when you're ready, it doesn't have to be now. You can send your leg to the left, perhaps assisting it with your left arm, keeping your left leg just as it is, grounded into the floor. Flex and point your toes while the leg is over to the left. Ooh, that waked something up. We'll do it one more time over to the right, just letting the leg drop out, using the hand if you need the extra weight, adding some ankle movements if that feels good to you, or just holding still and breathing into that posture. Last time to the left when you're ready. Again, it doesn't need to be now. It can be when you feel the desire to go to the left, if that happens again. Now, something I like to do from this position is I keep my foot over to the left and I just bend my knee. So my knee kind of comes into a sling. I'm going to reach up with my left hand to grab the ropes or the straps on either side of that ankle. Right hand can come up to the right knee, inside of your right knee. Press with the right hand, gently pull with your left hand. So you're creating a pigeon stretch. That's great. You can rock that a little bit if you feel the need to. If you're like, ooh, mom, my hip is tight, then you might just stay and be still and breathe into it. Or if your mind gets a little agitated, you could always add a little movement in there and break things up. Now, while your foot is right here, accessible, let's move the strap, the loop of the strap around the outside of your foot, around the arch. Switch the straps into your right hand. Bring your right elbow towards your right knee for a half happy baby. So now the left hand could be just helping the right hip to stay rooted. So I've got my left hand on my left thigh, and my right knee is being pulled back towards my right elbow, towards my armpit. Little happy baby there. Beautiful. Let's swing that right leg up into that loop, straight up. And let's do the other side. So we'll bring our left leg up into the loop, and we're going to arrange the loop onto the back of the left ankle. So this side is going to be different. If it's not feeling enough stretch, then you might bend your left knee and gently pull on that tail that's hanging down towards your face. If you need less, please let me know. Call for me and I'll come lift your silver buckle. The right leg can be down on the floor straight with your right heel grounded, your right calf, and your right glute. Let's do a little bit of work with the left ankle while it's here, flexing and pointing the foot just a couple times to bring awareness into the ankle, into the foot, the toes, and then inversion and eversion, turning your toes in to the right, out to the left, maybe even some circles. Letting your head just be heavy here in the strap. We'll let our leg drop open to the left, feeling a little inner thigh stretch there. Maybe using your left hand if you need an assist. Just gravity doing its work here. And When you are ready to move to the other side, start to swing your leg over to the right, and we'll be feeling the stretch on the other side of the leg. So you should feel it on the outer side of your left thigh from your knee, maybe down into iliotibial band or TFL, which is where that band connects onto your hip, the outside of your thigh and hip. All right, we've got 2 more passes to do, so go ahead and let your leg come back open towards the left, using that left hand as an extra guide if you need. Big breath here. Flex and point your toes while your leg is open to the left, feeling inner thigh. Send your leg through neutral, through the center to the right, perhaps using your right hand as a guide and assist. And you can flex your point your toes over to the right. Really adds a whole different dimension to that sensation. Sending the leg one more time over towards the left. Using the arm or not, using some extra directions of the toes, or maybe not. Maybe just letting gravity do its work, really focusing on the right leg, starting to ground, root. Last time as the left leg goes over towards the right, things are starting to loosen up, warm up in there. With your leg towards the right, bend the knee, and the leg ends up in like a sling. And you'll reach up with your right hand to grab the loop that is around your left ankle. So both sides, both sections of that strap, grab with your right hand. Left hand comes up to the inside of your left knee. Gently pull with the right arm as you press with the left. And the leg comes into something that resembles pigeon. Let the leg rock a little bit, right to left. If that awakens something and stillness serves you better, then just find your way to stillness in the posture. And from here, we'll switch into a half happy baby. So the foot's right in front of your body, your chest, so switch the loop to around the arch, like under the heel. And we're going to switch the hands so that now the left hand has a hold of both sides of the strap, the loop around your foot. Bend your left elbow, trying to meet your left calf or your left knee with your elbow. Pulling your foot open, half happy baby. Use your right hand to assist your right hip into grounding to the floor. Finally, swing that left leg back up into the loop. Bring your right leg up into the loop too. You could just arrange it around the arches or around the backs of your heels. And we're in a pose called hog tie. That's what I call it anyway, where you're in both neck traction and lumbar legs up the wall. So you've got a little bit of inversion going on here. Just allow yourself to rest. Perhaps coming back to your breath for a couple moments. Noticing how the belly expands with each breath in, and how the belly softens with each breath out. Allow the back of the neck to be heavy. Visualize it sagging down towards the ground. From here, gently reach your hands up for the strap that's around the back of your head. Lift your head very lightly and lay it down on the floor, allowing that strap to just gently fall back to the wall. Feel that beautiful flush of blood go up the back of your neck and into your head. We have many testimonies now of people feeling relief from headaches and migraines just from doing some neck traction, just from suspending the neck. With your legs up in this loop, ground your hands to either side of your body so as to stay grounded and stay flat. If you're on a blanket, you have the ability to slide, and we want to try to keep ourselves from sliding. So let your legs just drop over to one direction. Mine are going to the left first, but I'm trying not to swing to the left. Just letting the legs drop. And then I'll bring the legs through back to center and let them swing to the right. And as I do that, I get a nice waist stretch. As I go back to the left, I might feel the right waist. As I go to the right, I might feel the left waist. So we're just kind of swinging the legs side to side. The webbing of the strap should swivel on the backs of your ankles, backs of your heels. It's okay if we make a little noise as these plates, as the titanium swivels in the plates. Sounds like the creaking of the boards on a ship. That's how you know you're doing it right. All right, so from here, bend your knees, feet together, knees apart, reach up and get that strap off of your legs and let your feet come down to the ground. So now you might be laying with your feet flat, knees bent, or you might like to stretch out all the way into a Shavasana and notice all of the spaces on the back side of your body that have been lengthened now. We've done the neck, we've done the hamstrings and the legs, and a little bit of the hips and glutes. That's where we're going to head to next. Whenever you can, muster the energy to find your way to seated. Oh, that's the hard part. It really is, coming up to seated. That was a cool little swing around. We are going to use our strap that's on plate 3. So go ahead and swivel towards the wall. We are going to come into boat pose. So I'm going to need some more room in this here belt, in this here strap. So I'm going to lift my silver buckle and pull on the loop side until it gets a little bit longer. I'm going to feed my body through that loop. And I want the strap, the webbing, to be across my shoulder blades. So right around my ribs. We'll bring our feet onto the wall at about plate 2. Your knees will be bent. You want your tailbone grounded. So again, if you need more room, you're going to have to lift that silver buckle and give yourself more strap, more room, so that you're not so constricted close to the wall. So my feet are on the wall, my knees are bent, tailbone on my blanket, and then I'll start to reach my hands up to the ceiling, leaning back into this strap. We're in boat pose here. Now if you want to, you can start to move into your hamstrings. So I grab onto my strap, my loop, up close to the silver buckle. I'm going to lean to the left and try to extend my right leg so that my heel is on the wall. My toes are pulled back away from the wall. Leg is now straight. Let me see what you're doing. Yeah, you got it. And then I'm going to try to do the exact same thing on the left, keeping my right leg as it is. So now I'm on my tailbone with my heels on the wall, my legs are straight, my hamstrings are feeling that. And if it feels safe, you could reach your hands up towards the ceiling again. You resemble a beautiful boat, balancing on your tailbone, finding the ebb and flow of the waves, maybe rocking from right to left just a little bit. All right, beautiful, beautiful work. Go ahead and soften, walk your feet down the wall, bring your whole body up out of this loop, and we're going to rearrange. So I'm pushing back on my blanket so that I have wood to put my feet on here. And then I'm going to use my strap to pull myself up to standing. So no blanket under your feet for that, or else you'll slide. All right, so we're going to adjust our belt, our straps, into belts. So go ahead and bring both of your straps to plate 5. And then what we're going to do is attach the belts onto these straps. So with the original, the Great YogaWall, you have these belts that have these fish hooks on them, and we want to make sure that this little silver fish hook connects onto both sides of the strap. And this is where you can really tell which of your students are OCD, because I like for these silver buckles to be lined up and at the same spot. We are going to arrange our belt to mid-thigh level. So we want to pull it up about 2 or 3 inches above your knee. So I always will recommend to lift the silver buckle full first and then pull on the tails. And that just helps keep our equipment nice and healthy so that it doesn't get frayed. Alright, so when you've found your belt to about mid-thigh level, so I like mine about 3 inches above my knee, then you can bring your body behind the belt. If you feel like you'll need it, you can always arrange your blanket over the belt, and that adds a little bit more cushion. It also adds a really cool skirt, but the belts here at Satya are pretty worn, they're pretty used, so they're pretty soft. Where the ones in my office are brand new and they're just like, it like doesn't move and it hurts your hips sometimes. So we're going to start to walk out into the belt. We want it right in the hip crease. And we're just going to start to fold over the belt, just like we did with our femur traction down dog. Folding towards the floor and maybe walking your feet back so that your heels go slightly up onto the wall. We want our toes to stay grounded. The heels could lift. The heels could also stay grounded, and with that you would feel more calf muscle. So heels down, calf, heels on the wall, hamstring. No matter what you choose with your feet or your legs, you want your upper body to be folded over that belt. Just relaxing if possible. This time of year we've got a lot of pollen and stuff like that going around. We've got a lot of fluctuation in the weather. And so if your sinuses begin to feel like they're filling up, if you're starting to feel like your head is filling too much with blood, if your ears are starting to feel a little funky, or your eyes, then that could be your blood pressure raising. And we just need to empty the brain out a little bit, so feel free to bring your body up straight at any time. While we're folded, try to soften your knees so that your body is really folded over that belt. You're just kind of hanging out over the belt. Notice the pull of gravity on the top of your head. Again, you might add some neck movement, shaking the head no. Or yes. Or maybe so. Now before we add our rotation, let's drain our brain a little bit. So push into your heels, push into your toes, push into your belt, and lift your hands away from the floor, kind of like a zombie. And then you could reach out or up, or hands to your heart, or whatever, or zombie. Nice, so with this we're just kind of letting the blood drain out of our brain and our sinuses. I can always kind of hear it in my voice too. Immediately it goes away as soon as I come up. Alright, so for this next one we're going to add a twist, and we're going to be using these tails. So go ahead and fold forward. We're going to reach back with our left hand to grab that left tail that's by our left leg. And then our right hand is going to sweep under our body by the belt and try to grab up on that left strap as high as you can. Our left hand will come down to the ground now, so you can let go with your left hand and bring it down to the floor. Alright, lots of lefts and rights, I know. Right knee is going to bend. The right elbow, we draw it towards our right knee. So right knee, right elbow, they meet. Look out under your left armpit. Yeah. Do you feel that stretch in your right shoulder blade, Dwight? That's where I feel it too. So we get a nice mid-back stretch. We also get a nice shoulder blade stretch there, which is a hard muscle to stretch. You can release it whenever you're ready. And we'll take that right hand that was just grabbing onto that left strap and reach it back for our right one, the one that's hanging by our right side. We'll switch sides now, so the left hand is going to come up on that right strap as high up as you can. Right hand to the floor. Left knee bends, left elbow bends, and we try to meet our left knee to our left elbow, looking out towards the ceiling under our right armpit. So the right side is opening, the left side is cinching closer together. I feel a left shoulder blade stretch. Feel it a little in my neck on this side, mid-back. One more breath in, the twist, inverted. Release the hand, coming back to forward fold, or downward dog is traditionally what that is. That's the shape we're making. And we'll start to drain our brain once again, just rolling up like a zombie, either hands to the heart, hanging down, up overhead, whatever you like. Next up, if you're feeling up to it, we'll step on the wall. If you're feeling a little brave today. Let's fold back down when you're clear. So if you're like, I'm still feeling a little dizzy, you might just stay up a bit longer, a couple more breaths. Now for our wall forward fold, we want to bring our feet onto the wall at about plate 2. So no higher than plate 2. Otherwise your feet will be higher than your belt and you'll do a somersault. So we got to keep our feet lower than the height of our belt. Now if your feet are feeling a little slick today, you could always put your feet on the actual plates, and that'll give you a little bit of traction. We do want to straighten our legs out, and the belt slides onto our thighs. And from there, let's extend our body again like we're going to lift into a plank pose. So I sometimes pretend like my hands are on the floor, and I'm actually, in that plank position. But then you could also add a bhujangasana or cobra pose. That's where we kind of push up off the floor in yoga and arc our back up. And when you're like, okay, I'm good, my back is good, my head feels clear, then you can forward fold. And we're just going to let ourselves hang for about 6 breaths. Less if your brain is not comfortable, more if you love this pose. Just letting yourself hang down. If your eyes are open, you'll be looking back at your toes. Part of the spinal rejuvenation sequence is being inverted with twists. So that's what we'll do next. We're inverted upside down. Bring your right hand into the floor, but no tension. Soften your elbow, let yourself hang. Soften your right knee. Push in a little bit more with your left foot and sweep your left hand out and up. So now you are twisting. Right hand grounded, left hand reaching up. And you'll notice if your knees are wrong, because it'll just feel awkward. One more breath, open the left hand up. As you exhale, bring your left hand to the floor, soften your left knee, and reach your right hand up. Spinning the heart open to the right. Again, very little pressure there on my left arm, it's just my core kind of holding me there. Big breath, and when you exhale, release. Soften the knees, give yourself a little squat, and see if you can reach back for the tails of your straps. Right hand on the right one, left hand on the left one. We'll start to push our legs out straight, swing our arms out ahead of us. I'm going to switch my hands. I'm going to switch them so that my thumbs are back and my fists are in, so that I'm kind of grasping like so. Yes. Then we can add that shoulder stretch. So we can bend our elbows. We start to get to tricep. You can go a little bit further by looking down, tricep, a little compression and shoulders there. And you can start to slide your hands down, folding forward. We've got one more rotation to add. So bring your hands down onto the floor. Separate them a little wider. See where your left hand is? That's where you want to try to put your right hand. And then we're going to soften the right knee, adjust if needed, and swing that left hand up. You can lean into that right arm and you're going to feel your underarm stretching. You also feel a nice twist with a C curve in the spine. So there's a lot going on in this twist. Inhale and exhale, coming back to center. Just hanging out, forward fold. Separate your arms a little wider like they're reaching out. Now where your right hand is, we're going to try to swing our left hand into that place. Bend your left knee, push into the wall with your right, and swing your right hand up to the ceiling. Leaning into your left armpit, left ribs. Big breath. Release it down. Last time here, pressing into the feet, rolling out, rolling up, and getting some blood out of your head. Nice work. It's so fun. Now you can stay here, you can fold forward, or you can come to child's pose. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate. If you like the forward fold, you could just hang out there and let your spine decompress. If you're ready for child's pose, hands come to the floor. You'll soften one knee, well both knees, but one knee is going to lunge onto the wall with your knee and your shin on the wall. Let it slide down towards plate 2. Then do the other one so that both your shins, tops of your feet, toenails are on the wall by plate 2. And then you'll start to relax over that belt. You'll know if you measured well with your belt length if your head is touching the floor. So if your head is on the floor, your belt might be a little bit too long. If you're hovering, you're in a great spot to just let your neck, your spine, your whole body, your whole torso decompress. We are still upside down though. We're still inverted, so keep that in mind. If your brain, your ears, your eyes are starting to be uncomfortable, it's just your body saying, maybe no more today, or maybe I need a break, a rest. Maybe you're trying to push those boundaries a little bit today, and that's good. That's how we expand. That's how we can handle a bit more in our nervous system. Knowing that everything is impermanent. The sun rises and sets every day. The moon rises and sets every day. We'll begin to bring our hands flat onto the floor with our knees on the wall at about plate 2, so we end up in a tabletop. This is a wall tabletop. Let's go into a wall cat. Round your back, look back at your knees. Let's go into a wall cow. Look out across from you. Open your chest. Nice. We'll round our back for cat. And release our belly, looking out for cow. Nice work. However you get down, what I do is I start to tuck my toes under, I lengthen my legs and start to walk down the wall, back to my original downward dog, heels on the wall, toes on the floor. One more time, just kind of hanging out. We got to do this ascension slowly or else we'll get really dizzy. So start to press into your feet, press into your hips, coming up into cobra position when you're ready to come up. That would mean hands here or in your cobra position like you'd be doing in your regular yoga. That's awesome. Back starting to activate, you can really feel that. Now when you start to drain, then you can start to walk forward a little bit and maybe quickly step back, or traditionally you would turn towards the wall to ground yourself. So however it is that you like to ground yourself for the YogaWall sequence here. The nice thing about turning towards the wall is that you now have a little swing that you can sit in especially if you're feeling a little extra dizzy today. Beautiful. All right. So let's do a little back bend before we lower ourselves down. So just walk back into that belt. Bring it up to your shoulder blades and lean back into it. Open your heart. Look up to the ceiling. That hurts your neck. You can always support your neck with your arms or your hands. Cosmic headrest. Anything that hurts in your lower back, remember to activate the core, the glutes. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the center of your body together. And that's going to really help keep that all intact. All right. We're going to add our next back bend in when we get lowered to the floor. So whenever you want to come up, feel like you're cinching the waistband and bring yourself back up to standing. We're going to lower our belt down about an inch off the floor. So lifting the silver buckle, pulling on the loop side. What I do is I measure the strap of the the tail of the strap and the loop of the strap to the same length. And when the loop matches the tail, so they're the same length, you should be about an inch off of the ground. All right, so we're gonna get out our blanket once again. And it used to be in a half yoga mat shape, and now it's gonna be in a quarter folded mat. So from a full, you'll take it in half and then half again. This is just for our head and shoulders. So as you lay back, there's many ways to get into legs up the wall. But how I do it is, this is just for my head and shoulders. So I actually sit on the floor, and then I lay back so that my head and shoulders are on this blanket. And then I put my feet on the wall and I have my belt. And I'm going to lift my hips up into a bridge, and then the belt carries me in. So it should be pretty fun. You just wee, real fast. Now I don't want you to get too comfortable too fast here. I have one more back bend to do with you. So with your hips suspended off the floor, head on your blanket. Looks good, Dwight. We're going to bend our knees to our chest, feet flat. Hold on to your belt. Don't let it slide off your butt. Slide your whole body back by pushing onto your feet. And start to walk your feet down the wall. So now your feet might be on the floor, knees closer to the wall, hips supported in the belt. Make sure your glutes are heavy. So imagine that your butt, it's just going to get heavier. And your low back is going to curve over that belt. Let your arms just rest by your sides. Feel the coolness of the floor. A couple of breaths in this supported back bend. You're welcome to play with that a little bit, adding some rocking, some other types of movement there. But when you're ready, we're going to be taking our Shavasana in our legs up the wall, or any variation of that pose. So you can stay here if you just love this back bend. If you'd like to go to legs up the wall, you can start to bring your legs back up in between the straps and let that belt carry you back in so that your hips are on the wall. Other options would be Baddha Konasana with your knees behind the straps, feet together. Still knees behind the straps, you could wrap around or wrap the lower leg in front of the strap. Adds more pressure on the thighs. Apalottanasana, star legs with your legs out straight for inner thigh stretch, or just a simple legs up the wall. You've got lots of choices. Feel free to try all of them, many of them, and see what works for you. No matter what you choose to do with your legs, the fact that your hips are supported in this belt about an inch 1.5 off of the ground, suspended, allows for gravity to lengthen your lumbar spine from the belt towards your shoulders, which are laying on your carpet, on your blanket. So imagine the space between the belt and the space between the floor, creating length in your entire back. When the time comes, begin to bend your knees to your chest. This may allow the belt to slip out, or you may lift your hips to allow the belt to slide back or slip out towards the wall. This will happen when you're ready. Again, it doesn't need to be now. It's when you're ready to bring yourself down to the floor and feel the flush through your lumbar spine. I always like to bring my feet flat, knees bent, and kind of push myself out a little bit so that the back can lay completely flat with the knees bent. It's like you're sitting in an invisible chair on the wall. You're welcome to stay here. You're welcome to lengthen yourself out all the way by pressing your feet onto the wall and kind of rocketing yourself outward. You're welcome to roll onto a side here. It's whatever calls to you, however you like to take your closing of your practice. Perhaps eventually making your way back to seated if that's what serves you. And we of course have this wall behind us, so you can always support yourself with the wall if needed. And as we come upright, sometimes it's a little abrupt because we've been spending a lot of time suspending our body, and all of a sudden we're stacked once again. We're using gravity against us. So So just noticing what that feels like, if you're still feeling the nice warmth or cool feeling in your back. The sensation of your skin, cool toes. Hopefully feeling a bit longer, a bit taller. Gratitude for this body, capable, strong, with the ability to gain strength and gain flexibility. Gratitude for the mind that got you here to the wall today. Gratitude for the wall. I bow to you, each of you practicing today. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Namaste. In Shukriya, that means thank you.